laughing like nobody ever has. Bob Lorendi's joining me today. Welcome to TJ Stone's Media Circus. I had to pick a name for the new show.
It's a great name. It's a great name.
My voice is very loud in my ear. Very loud. I feel like I'm in a canyon.
Thank you for having me.
I feel like I'm in a canyon in Ravello, Italy. Which is coincidentally where your family's from, Bob. Tell us about Ravello, Italy.
No, first of all, my family is not from Ravello,
Italy. Just for the sake of the show,
yeah,
just make believe.
Well,
yeah, I mean, I know they're from someplace in Brooklyn, but you know.
No, the family is from Cariati, Italy. You know,
really?
Reggio Calabria.
Really?
Actually, Reggio Calabria.
I'm sure that's interesting. Welcome to the TJ Stone Media Circus. We're going to talk about that thing he was talking about here in a minute. And I'm going to check my ear, Bob. Very professional.
I don't have anything in my ear.
I wrote notes today.
Oh, sure.
Okay? All right?
Okay.
First thing I want to talk about is Jillian Michaels, if I may.
Sure.
Mike Artsis did a hell of a job. He went to the Jillian Michaels opening, the Bella magazine, what do you call that? Opening party, cover party. Courtney, what is that? What was that thing that they did? So he goes there to interview Jillian Michaels. And Jillian is on the cover of this magazine. So Mike, you know, we set up days in advance for this stuff. Like, he's got girls in the car dressed on the way. He's got camera crews. He's got live streaming in Manhattan from Courtney's. You see Courtney and
yeah,
they're very beautiful.
Very nice.
TJ's Angels, they call themselves.
Very lovely.
He gets there. He can't wait to interview Jillian. Right?
Now this is the workout guru.
Yeah.
She was on that show, The Biggest Loser.
Yeah, Biggest Loser, right?
Or one of those shows.
Courtney, I think was Biggest Loser.
The big Loser.
She was the person who screamed at fat people.
Oh, okay.
That's who Jillian Michaels is.
Yeah.
And I told Mike the first question you have to ask her, because part of the deal was we were going to be there to interview her and sit down and have a little nice in-depth conversation on behalf of the magazine and to get her streaming live on Twitch. We had 90,000 people watching.
Wow.
It was a big deal, right?
Yeah, sure.
So he gets there and, you know, he's jockeying, he's talking to people and he's doing his thing, it's great. He's jockeying for position to try and talk to her and like, he gets her at this table and her publicist is going, look, we only got 30 seconds, we got 50 seconds, we got 12, we got it's nanoseconds, we gotta go, because everything in show business is an emergency.
Of course.
Like, where does she have to go? What's the emergency?
Well, she's very important.
No, there's a building on fire in Harlem, and the only person that can save us is Jillian. She has to go now.
She's an important person. You have to understand. She has things to do and people to see.
No, she has nowhere to be. We set this whole thing up for you. Calm yourself down. Be humble. You know Kendrick Lamar?
No.
Be humble. Kendrick Lamar's a famous rapper, Bobby.
I'm sure he's very good.
Be humble.
Yeah, be humble.
Sit down. In the words of Kendrick Lamar, I call him. We're very close. We go way back.
Yeah.
Sit down. Be humble. So, no. She's got an attitude. The publicist is trying to rush her out of there. Mike Artsis starts the conversation and by the way, 5-time Emmy Award winner, no slouch, pro, legend in the business, legend. I mean, I don't know if he is, but
he's good.
First question he asks her is, hey, remember me? We did the thing. I was at the, 5 years ago, I interviewed you at the benefit for gorillas or whatever the hell these people do. I don't know what they do, you know. You were at the opening for the Save the Whales, you know.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, of course.
So she goes, no.
No.
No. He goes, yeah. And he's such a sweet guy. Yeah, I remember the thing. Remember? No, I wasn't there. Was I there? She asks her publicist, and the publicist starts.
She's searching whether she was at an event.
Just say yes to the guy. But what are you arguing about whether you were there or not? I wasn't there, and Mike goes, I can prove it to you. She goes, well, then prove it to me.
Oh, my gosh. Was she drinking?
I don't know if she was drinking.
Yeah, doesn't sound right.
And I'm saying, man, you should have opened the conversation with, what does it feel like to scream at fat people for a living? That's the question.
Legitimate question.
Right?
Yeah.
Because that's what you do. Let's be honest. She
screams at them.
It's not.
She humiliates them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like people are asking her,
it's effective.
What's your favorite cheat food?
Yeah.
And she said wine.
Oh, wine.
Shut up. Just shut up.
Well, there's calories in wine.
Just shut up.
I'm not defending her. Don't get me wrong.
Wine.
There's calories.
My cheat food is heroin.
Although there's resveratrol in wine too.
So
it's good for you.
There's what?
Resveratrol. It's
and what does that
very
do?
good. Revitalize all your cells.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be really good for you.
So he says.
I don't know how she's cheating.
So he says, yeah, I was there, and I interviewed you, and then she's not giving him any play, and this godforsaken troll of a human being is next to her going, we have to go, it's an emergency, we have to go not answer questions over here now, So I'm disgusted watching the whole thing. I'm just disgusted watching it, right?
Well, she's very important in her mind.
Very important and very pretentious.
Pretentious, yeah. Unnecessary.
Totally
Drake? Unnecessary.
You know Drake?
Yes.
You know Back to Back?
Back to Back, no.
You don't know that? That was his response to Meek Mill?
You got the wrong guy. But
okay, so
I'd
Drake
love to
and
learn.
Meek Mill had a little bit of a rap battle.
Oh, I see.
And Meek Mill called out Drake, and then Drake came back with his answer. And then 4 days later, he came back with another one, and he called it Back to Back.
I see.
Widely regarded as the best comeback diss response in the history of rap.
I gotta Google it. Yeah.
Yeah, Google that.
Yeah, I gotta
part of the Drake response was, "You're very important and very pretentious. I might look back and wish I never gave this attention." And that's what reminds me of when you said that. It reminded me of. I thought you would know.
No.
But maybe we'll Google it later and we'll listen to it. You and I.
I don't know really contemporary stuff.
So then Mike Artis says,
I don't know.
Mike, this is what you wanted. Was on my mind. This is on my mind, buddy. So what's it like to have a video game on Wii? And she goes, does that still exist?
Oh my gosh, come on.
And he goes, yeah, Wii exists. She goes, I don't think it does. And he goes, no, but you know.
I don't know, she's having a bad day or she's had a bad attitude. This is not.
You scream at fat people.
Yeah.
That's how you make your living. Let's not, you're not Neil deGrasse Tyson. You know what I mean? You scream at fat people for a living.
Yeah.
Answer the kid's question about the video game. Here's what it's like to have you know what it's like? All right.
Here's
what it's like.
You're angry with her.
I'm very angry. It's awesome to have a video game out on Wii. I appreciate those guys at Nintendo. We worked hard on it. And there was a lot of work that went into it. And apparently it helps people. It helps people get in shape and using video games. That's the answer.
Yeah. Be a real human being.
Thank you, Bob.
I agree with you.
Thank you, Bob.
I'm a little cynical about these so-called celebrities. They're a little full of themselves. So I almost expect this. What's her name? Jillian Gray?
I don't know what her name is. Jillian Michaels.
Yeah.
She screams at fat people for a living.
Yeah, I know.
I can't wait to interview her.
I
would put that at the bottom. Get ready to listen to someone who screams at fat people for a living.
Sure.
Oh, by the way, we have 2 hours of this.
Jillian,
you excited?
Well, I don't know her. I've seen her on that show where she yells at fat people.
Yeah.
She was effective. I think the people lost weight, but then they gained it back later.
No, I wasn't. No, they didn't.
No, they didn't. Right.
I
think they did.
That's what's on the top of my mind. What I also want to say is thank you to the fans for demanding more TJ Stone. I appreciate that. I took a week off. I wasn't going to do the show. I was going to do more prep and production, and we have big things coming up, But they wrote in by the thousands, tens of thousands.
What's coming up?
Maybe not tens of thousands, maybe tens.
Tens.
They wrote in by the tens.
Of people.
Tens of people.
Calling up.
Well, hey, where's that guy?
What do they do? They type on.
I watched him while I was drinking coffee at my desk.
Yeah.
Where's that guy?
Well,
no, they really did. They wrote in. It was interesting. Mike showed me the thousands and thousands and thousands of emails that he received, and some of those included responses to me not being on the air and wanting me back.
Well, and is this the first?
This is the first iteration.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I fortunately, you're talking with me.
I love having you here.
So,
I don't know if you could pick up on my energy right now, ladies and gentlemen, but let me just say this. I love Bob Lorenzo. All right? Let me just say that.
Well, look, we know each other a long time, and since you're very small.
Yeah.
You were tiny. You were like a little person.
I know.
And I was I'm about 10 years old, 9 years older.
Yeah.
And you were kind of our mascot on the baseball team, and I played with your older brother, and your father was my coach. So we go back a long time, and you were the cutest thing in the world.
Thank
I
you,
remember.
man.
Yeah, you were cute.
No,
Even now you're
oh, thank you.
You're still cute.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Speaking of cute, we'll get to our relationship in a second.
Yeah, don't
but,
even go there. I mean,
there's a very free-flowing form of consciousness, stream of consciousness that I do here on the show, Bobby. Not much planning. That's the second time that broke.
I'll try to keep up.
So there's a woman that's in our group of people, and she's a big fan of TJ Stone. I know I'm very humble. I don't like to talk about myself. I'm not conceited.
Oh, sure.
I don't want to put it out there that I'm self-important.
No, never.
I'm not very pretentious.
Not much, no.
No, I'm not the type of guy who harps on how great I am at things.
No, you don't talk much about
I'm not talking about my accomplishments.
All the things you've done successfully,
in
and
life.
all the people you've affected in life,
I don't
in
like
a
to talk
positive
about
way.
it. Yeah,
no, you
no.
never.
No.
I never heard you say that.
Right, I would never. As a matter of fact, I want to share something with you. I had a thought this morning. I thought if I was ever a guy who had hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, and then I would help the world. This is what I would do. I would help the world in different ways,
Yeah. So if you had hundreds of millions of dollars, you would help the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I've heard that before.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
And that's nice of you.
Thank you.
If you had hundreds of millions of dollars,
I would help the world.
Let's say you won the lotto.
Right.
And it was a big lotto, like $500 million. You would
like $250 after taxes, right?
$250 after taxes and after the payouts.
Right.
So you would help people.
Right. I would help people.
Yeah.
And I had this vision in my head of one of the ways I would help people is, Africa has some spots that are they're struggling a lot. And a lot of countries in Africa have no water, no Wi-Fi, not a lot of food. Like there's a lot, no beds.
Yeah, 7 people live in a shack.
So I had this vision of myself bringing water to the people of Africa, certain areas of Africa.
Bottled water, or
just like the ability. Oh, listen, I have to read Twitch.
Oh boy.
Why wasn't TJ at the adoption event yesterday? I wanted to take him home. Oh, you want to take me home? I love you. That's right. I was playing with the colored blocks. See the tens of thousands of fans chiming in?
Yeah.
Thank you, people.
Oh boy.
I know part of this, and if I'm going to be completely honest, I'm in a flow with Bobby, and then Gabe came in and pointed at the screen. It said, interact with Twitch. Hard for me to do. Hard. It's hard. It's
because
difficult.
you got to refocus,
I feel like what I'm saying is more important than what they're saying, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful, condescending way.
Certainly not.
No.
No, I know you a long time. You would never be that way.
I would never say that. I mean, I'm very humble.
Yeah.
And so.
Oh, I love you. Someone had.
I love you, Tatalicious. I love Orgic. I love Ownerd, if he's tuning in. I love all my people. Listen, some of the kids on Twitch, by the way, at that Jillian Michaels event.
Yeah.
Look, man, they're so funny. This Twitch is it's really it's 100 million users, and a lot of them are young. A lot of them, the majority, are young kids watching other kids play video games, and they call people like us normies.
Oh, a normie.
Like we're normal, but they don't know that I'm not so normal.
No.
So at the event the other day, they were just ripping people apart. Imagine like if you were in high school.
Yeah.
And you could say anything you wanted to anybody on TV.
Yeah.
That's what they were doing,
That's good. That's what they should do.
Like Mike's interviewing a guy, and they're like, "Get this guy out of here. Bring the girl back. Tell the girl to lift her shirt."
These are some of the comments.
On and on, on and on and on. Wow. Who is this guy?
I would expect nothing less.
Why am I watching this?
Who is this guy?
But I loved it because I started interacting with them. Like I started interacting with the kids, and then they started friending me. And I'm like, listen, man, we're here trying to make this happen. What's this? Yeah, see?
Good morning. Yeah, I see.
Good morning,
yeah,
Shrimp 525.
Yeah, 525. I know.
Could we just circle back for a second about my
I would.
What's that called when you do stuff, charitable work for people? Philanthropy.
Philanthropic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was very philanthropic with my imaginary hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah, no, I think it's an easy way to go. And you know, I mean, I think
Well,
we, you know, spoke about
I had
that.
this vision that I would bring water
Yeah.
to the places of the world that do not have it.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
And I had this vision where I saved, this is what I would do. I saved millions and millions of people with water that were otherwise dying of dehydration. And then
Yeah,
I
well,
had
when
this vision that I showed up, you know, I helicopter in and the people greet me.
Yeah.
And there's a woman, she's elderly. She's elderly, but she's wise.
Of course.
And she's a beautiful African woman, and she's older, and she's so in awe of my presence.
Sure.
Because to her, in her mind, you know, and maybe it would be true, like God
You're
sent me.
Christ-like.
Yeah,
sure.
Christ-like. Not that I'm Christ.
No, certainly not.
Right. It's
but
like
Christ-like.
Christ-like.
Like Son of God.
In her mind.
In her mind.
In my vision of me saving the world from dehydration.
Yeah. And, so,
And then I approached the group of people, and you get like an aerial shot, and it's like millions of people greeting me. And I'm just like T-shirt.
Is this a fantasy? Is this a thought? What is this exactly?
This is.
If you were to, would you do it with irrigation? Like, would you have a process where water, or would you just bring bottles of Evian?
That is such a great question, Bob.
No.
I think I would utilize technology and some of the greater minds. Like at that point in time, I will have become probably best friends, like brothers, with like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. You know Jeff Bezos from Amazon Prime.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm a big Prime user, Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I have a Prime too.
I Prime it up.
It's a great.
So I'm already like halfway there with Jeff Bezos.
No shipping handling charges.
Yeah, I mean they're putting every single business out of business, but still, you got to admire the chutzpah.
Well, that'll stop. You know, once the U.S. government gets involved, they're going to create there's some laws to regulate the internet so they can get their hand in that giant pot of gold there.
Right. So if you look at an aerial shot of me approaching the people, the hundreds of millions of people, if there is that much room, I know Africa's a big place, so maybe there's a couple 100 million people greeting the man who saved
water,
the continent from dehydration.
Yeah.
And I had this vision of this elderly woman like separating from the crowd to meet me. And we have this moment.
Yeah, like Mary Magdalene.
And we make eye contact.
Yeah.
You know, and there's nothing but love and humanity in my eyes.
Who does she look like? Is she looks like Halle Berry? I mean, who
in
this
she,
vision?
She looks like an elderly African woman.
She's African. Is she white or black?
Elderly African woman, probably dark skinned.
Dark skinned, black.
Probably has some tribal markings.
Nice.
And she's very grateful that I'm
kind of like one of the women from Black Panther, let's say.
Yes.
You know?
Beautiful woman, beautiful, elderly, a little elderly.
But older.
Elderly. Because it wouldn't have the same effect if it was a younger. Because she's seen the devastation of the dehydration.
I see, okay. So
and now,
beautiful.
There's no more of that.
Dark-skinned African woman.
She meets me and she immediately drops to her knees and starts to go to kiss my feet.
Yeah.
And I say, no, 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 no. I lift her and I look her in the eyes and I say, no, I kiss your feet. And then I kiss her feet as a display of my humanity and my humbleness and my humility. And then the crowd goes silent. And then when I stand up and we make eye contact, they go, it's insanity. It's
now,
like this roar.
This is if you had, let's say, hit a lotto for 500 million.
Yeah.
This is what you would like to do and how you envision the results of your efforts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then
pretty nice. Yeah.
I just to the crowd, silence after the roars. I just kind of like give it maybe a center of the chest.
Yeah.
Namaste.
Namaste, right? Namaste.
And then I leave. And that's the way I think you need to be philanthropic.
Yeah, philanthropic. Yeah.
Right. That's
in
the
that
vision
way.
I had.
That's right. That would be a nice.
So your boy says, so TJ has a foot fetish. That's my takeaway.
Yeah, right.
You know, I'm trying to show you how humble I am. Your boy.
There's a foot fetish.
Yeah, is it yabo, 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 or your boy, your boy, your boy? Because I'm from Brooklyn, we read that as your boy, your boy, your boy.
Yeah, of course.
Let's wait for the answer. I don't know where that story came from or why I said it, but you bring that out in me, Bob.
Yeah, that's a.
You know.
It seems like your thoughts of it bring a lot of glory and attention to you in this vision.
But in that moment, I show it. I show the humility. I'm
So you're
not
saying,
going to kiss.
sure, I am essentially your Messiah. However,
Well, I'm Messiah-like.
as Messiah, like, you know,
Yeah.
if it weren't for me, you'd all be dead. You would all be
And
dead.
generations would have perished.
Or at least, you know, dehydrated in a
And think of
serious
the
way.
people that survived and the contributions to humanity they would have made on behalf
Yeah,
of my
chances are all
generosity.
these, you know, these third world people would grow up to invent something
Exactly.
or to change the world.
Yeah.
You know, like a vaccine they would
Thank
create
you.
and a cure for cancer,
Thank
maybe.
you.
You know, probably
Probably.
those people.
Because there's
that you
millions. I
described,
mean, think
there's
about the
millions.
numbers, the
Just
sheer
odds.
numbers. Yeah.
Not just numbers alone.
And I'm happy to have contributed to that, and that's why I say thank you.
You're not thinking
woman.
more than likely they would just procreate more starving children and
No.
create a larger sum of
right,
population
right,
that would
right.
need water.
By the way,
and barely have an education.
Yeah,
or,
no.
that wouldn't be
we were
the
going
case.
the other way with this. Yeah.
No, that wouldn't happen. Right? If you won that money or somehow got it,
Got it.
that would create this.
Crypto. I'll probably get that from cryptos.
That's a way.
You know?
That's something that would work.
Just going to adjust the ears here.
Oh, is that
Ears.
technical difficulties?
No.
Yeah, no, I can see it. I mean, I know you a long time, so I know where you come from, you know,
Right.
but based on that story, it seems like you kind of bringing attention to yourself, like
I
glorifying
know,
yourself.
right? But if you think about it,
in that
does.
way.
It feels that way.
Yeah.
Until I turn the tables and kiss her feet.
Yeah, it seems like it would
You
be,
know?
you know, like a kind of a TV moment where you're trying to
Right.
turn the table,
Right.
trying to say, hey, I am better than you. And
Hold on, he kind of like, look, this is the problem with Twitch, or the beauty of Twitch. Either that or he saw the Aquaman trailer. Is that the Aquaman trailer,
That's-
what I described? Yabori says, I kind of like both, honestly. Originally meant to be Yabo, 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 though. All right, Yabo. So then I'm still going to call you my boy, son.
Meant to be Yabo.
By the way, it's not lost on me, ladies and gentlemen, that we look like the Italian version of Seinfeld. And you get a little bit of a wide shot of Seinfeld, Bobby. Bobby, that's Sanford and Son.
Oh, I thought it was doing Seinfeld.
No. Look at us.
I can't do that.
We're Seinfeld. We're on the Bizarro World Seinfeld. Look at us. It's George. It's George and Jerry.
George
Right?
and Jerry.
Listen, Bobby and I look so much like George and Jerry that we started a company together. And you know, prior to what was it, about 15 years ago?
Yeah.
Prior to my foray into show business and house flipping, we started a company together, and it was Vandalay Roofing. That's how Seinfeld out we are. We met.
Right, Vandalay
We came up.
Industries.
Do you remember how? I mean, it's obvious how
And
we
we
came up
put
with
the
it.
art in roofing. Art Vandalay. So, but yeah, listen, we were very successful. I mean,
We did great, man.
It worked. It was nice.
It was nice. We
people
had a
knew
lot
us.
of our
They,
clients and the people that
they-
notoriously that or famously that Italians do business with are the Jews, Italians.
They knew Jerry
They loved it.
Seinfeld. He was very popular at the time.
You know, Dr. Milch and I say Jews and Italians, same upbringing, different guilt. It's the same thing.
That's right.
Right? So when we had Vandalay, well, you came up with the name.
We said, what if we call ourselves Vandalay? And we left and said, well, why not?
You know when you're thinking of a name for a construction company, like especially a roofing company, you're thinking about like Pinnacle. But what's on the top of the building? The Apex Roofing.
Apex, yeah.
A
Pinnacle.
plus. You come up with all
Acme,
these generic.
yeah.
I was coming up with so many generic
And then
like.
initials.
And you said, why don't we just call it? Look at us. Why don't we just call it Vandalay?
Yeah, Vandalay.
I did
Industries.
something very George-like in the moment. And you said, well, why don't we just call it Vandalay?
I
Right.
did something George-like in the moment, which is
So
a lot. That happens a lot, though.
I want to talk about why you're here, man.
Why am I here?
If I could just get serious
The
for a
audience-
second.
The audience is wondering, what is this guy?
Bob has something-
Import, export roofs, that's right.
Bob has something very important and very dear to his heart to share with us. So I promised I'd give you this moment, Bobby. Go ahead.
I do?
Yeah, that's what you said, right?
Near and dear?
Yeah. Was that you?
It wasn't me, man. I'm near and dear.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait a
Was
minute.
that on, like, the gun control or school shootings or climate change? What is it that we discussed earlier?
I thought we were going to talk about the PlayStation 4.
PlayStation 4?
Yeah.
No.
Um,
PlayStation 4, could you imagine?
I didn't think we were going to talk about those topics.
No, I thought you were going into heavy, heavy duty issues, really.
The heaviest issue I'll get into is why Jillian Michaels was acting like a person that I can't. A four-letter word for women that ends with UNT. Ant. You got to look that joke up. Look up Otto and George. Four-letter word. Right. When he's sitting next to the Pope on the plane.
No, that's funny.
Otto and George's joke. He says,
"Where's Otto? He's not here anymore."
He passed away, man.
Who passed, Otto or George?
I know. They both died.
Someone picked up. Which one was who?
Otto was the guy.
Otto was the human.
George was the puppet.
George was the puppet?
Otto was the guy.
No one's going to know Otto and George.
No, you have to Google Otto and George immediately. If you don't know Otto and George, you don't know anything. He was a guy with a filthy puppet, a disgustingly vile and hysterical puppet. And one of his jokes was, he was on a plane and he's sitting next to the Pope, and he says, "Hey, Father." The puppet says, "Hey, Father." Oh no, the Pope was doing a crossword, and he says, "I need a four-letter word that ends with UNT, a four-letter word for a woman that ends with UNT." So George gives him the obvious answer.
Yeah, okay. George.
No, George says ant.
Oh, George says
ant. And the Pope says, "Oh, all right, I already wrote C. I better erase that." And then he does a thing. I mean,
that's good.
Yeah, see you next Tuesday. That's right, Michael Artsis.
See you next Tuesday. Oh, okay.
So you're not the guy who was going to come on and...
And I didn't know the story. Unfortunately, else. I mean, I came along because you said we would have bagels and coffee.
Yeah,
and
he's starving, by the way.
No, I don't care, but that's what you had said.
They should have been here. I'm going to talk to HR and find out why they're not here.
I'll sit with you if you're going to...
Mike, if Michael Artsis, if you're on the way and there's a bagel store somewhere in this godforsaken place of New Jersey that we're tucked away in, pick up what do you need?
No, it's unnecessary.
What kind of bagel do you like?
If you were going, get a everything bagel toasted with butter and coffee, decaffeinated coffee.
Decaf.
Black.
Yeah.
No milk, no sugar. But I don't even go there.
Don't.
I don't care.
He's just saying, just in case.
I'm just saying, if you're there.
We've known each other since I was an embryo, man. Bobby and I.
Yeah, a long time. And
an embryo.
I've seen
you know what an embryo is?
Well, I don't know if I know you that long.
I mean, really a long time.
But a long time.
You probably interacted with my mother while she was pregnant with me, is what I'm saying.
I knew her.
You knew her well.
I knew her well.
And you said, "This child that you're bearing."
Yeah. Right? I said, "There's something special about you. I know you a long time, and you're glowing." And she was glowing, your mother, and almost like the Virgin Mary in a sense.
There's a lot of that going on today.
Yeah, so maybe that's, you're getting these visions you don't realize.
I just want to call attention to something real quick. I don't know if I mentioned Jules. Did I mention Jules yet?
No.
By the way, I'm going to do this a lot. I'm going to bounce around from topic to topic. You okay with that?
Yeah, sure, until you grab something.
So Jules, who's a really good friend of ours, and she represents a contingency of people that we're going to do a lot of IRL in real life.
In real life. Yeah, IRL.
Every time you say, yeah, IRL, you got to go in real life. It's a little bit of an inside joke, but in real life.
In real life,
Getting it and $4 donuts for TJ's. Mike's getting, okay, no donuts. Michael Artsis, Calamity Jane says, "I bet you the rest of the gang would like some bagels too." Yes. So, Bob, Jules is a woman that we're working with, and she has a modeling agency.
Sure, that's nice.
And she is a very accomplished, successful, intelligent, beautiful woman who's going to do some IRL with us and work on some shows. And she's a huge, just an outlandishly, almost obsessive fan of TJ Stone, which I'm humbled by.
Nice.
Thank you. And she was expressing this love for me and the love of the people that are in her circle and the people that she works with in some of the groups in her building, how they watch the show a lot, to Michael Artsis and saying, "Look, you got to get him back on. Where is he? Where has he been?" And she was just, I mean, I think the conversation lasted for maybe 45, 50 minutes about, some of the stuff I've said, the characteristics that I portray, and it was humbling for me. I don't like to do that. I don't like to talk about myself. But she did mention one slight little, what's the word I'm looking for? Discrepancy, not a discrepancy.
Anomaly?
not an anomaly, something that she wasn't happy about with me. Some
miscue,
sort
some
of
oddity, some
oddity is a good way to put it.
All right.
She said to Michael, almost offhandedly, which means to me that she wasn't really thinking that much about it. We got to do something about the way he dresses.
Really?
Yeah. She said, yeah, we got to do something about the way he dresses. So I had an idea, like, let's do like, you know, a makeover, like, you know,
That's
model's eye for the straight,
Sure.
fat dad guy, some type of show,
Well,
right?
I don't know if that's the title, but yeah, why not? Let's go for it.
Yeah.
Go for it. See if you need to make. I don't think so. You seem like a handsome,
Thanks, man.
well put together young man.
Well,
but,
the black shirt hides the fat in the middle,
yeah,
and the
but-
loose shirt hides the fat on the outsides. What's so difficult to know? However, you'll be happy to know, Jules. I don't know if you guys get a shot of this, of my shoes, Jules. This is for you. These are Timberlands.
Very nice.
Timberlands. I call them Tim Dogs. Boom.
Yeah, they look good. They look good, actually. I like them.
Boom.
They're black. They're not sneakers.
They're
They're
not
not
sneak-
chugga boots.
Right, right.
And it's a different thing for you. Which is
Stay
nice.
grip bottom.
Now, what socks are you wearing? I mean, you have white socks, or do you have?
Yeah,
do you want
white
the white
socks.
socks?
Yeah.
No. Now,
Is that all right?
I'm not. I'm not a. Should you have different socks on with
I
that?
got
don't know.
the white socks.
Oh, they're short, yeah. Pasty white skin that matches
Yeah.
the socks. That's nice.
There's no better sign of how out of shape and unhealthy I am if you just contrast the color of my face to the color of my
Well, your face is exposed.
the color of my face to the color of my skin. Just understand that I should be rushed out of here on a dolly right to the doctor's office.
Well, I don't think so, but I do like the shoes.
Thank you, man.
They're very nice.
So Jules, I took care of it.
Yeah, nice.
All right, look.
See what she does.
Let's begin. You ready?
Begin to be gay. What
What
do you
was
need to
life-
know? What do you
what-
need to know, man?
What was life? Let's talk about the neighborhood a little bit, Bobby.
Well, yeah, that's always interesting. We always talk about this, you know, because we grew up at a time that in our neighborhood in Brooklyn, in Gravesend, we saw things that we took for granted, like it was just regular life. This is the way it is. Like people got shot, beat up, threatened, robbed.
Yeah.
And we just rolled with it, like, oh yeah, I heard about what happened to Frankie. He got shot. Well, he deserved it.
Because if
You know,
it
it's
makes
just
sense if Frankie gets shot.
Yeah, we knew the bad guys in the neighborhood. We knew to stay away from them, and
Right.
And it seemed like there was this. It just took care of itself, you know. Usually, if you mind your business and you did what you had to do, you were okay.
Sounds like Attica.
Sounds like Attic. Really?
Sounds like you're describing Rikers Island. That's our neighborhood in the 70s.
I think so. I think so.
All of Brooklyn really in the 70s, right?
We even knew about who got killed and where the police didn't know.
Yeah.
And we would have our own judgments. Like, I can't mention names. I'll change the names to protect the innocent. But I remember one guy got beat to death, you know, in the neighborhood. And it was about 10 teenagers beat this guy to death, which is tragic.
Sure it is.
But it seems like the neighborhood, no one came out. No one made a statement to police.
Yeah.
Even though we knew, because the neighborhood judged it to said, this guy deserved to die. And
You're right.
it's strange.
That's how it was back then.
The other good part of it is because we were small, mostly Italian Americans, right?
Right.
And most blue collar workers. Everybody knew each other.
Yep.
You know, everybody knew. So it was a lot different. You didn't need cell phones. You didn't need that. It's though if you got into trouble, I would be 2 or 3 blocks away. But if I broke a window, that person knew my father, and would say, "Go home. I'm gonna." You know.
Yeah, and your father knew before you got home, probably somehow.
Yeah, somehow.
Somehow, some way. Phone calls, messages.
It
You
just
know,
got
somebody
back.
went and told somebody. One of my, I don't know why I just remembered this, but there was I was about 8 years old. This is the best way to describe our neighborhood. Like, you know, okay, so stereotypical Italians, and there's obviously the element of wise guys in the neighborhood, right?
For sure.
But even like your brother was a cop.
Yeah.
Toughest guy I think I've seen from that neighborhood. The gangsters were afraid of him, right? So you had regular working class guys that were as tough, sometimes tougher than the wise guys.
Yeah.
But they all grew up together, so there was a love and a respect there.
True.
I was 7 and maybe 8 years old, and there was a guy who was flashing the girls on the way to school. Do you remember this?
It happened several times.
I was talking to a mutual friend of ours the other day from the neighborhood, right? And this guy's a working class guy. And I said, do you remember that? And he goes, oh, you don't even want to know. There was a guy flashing girls, like the girls on the way to Catholic school. Jeez. He was flashing them, and they didn't know who this guy was or where he came from. I don't know if he was a grifter, drifter, whatever. He was like nobody knew. So I remember being at somebody's house, and all the fathers were there, maybe 8 fathers, right? So if I was 7, they had to be in their 30s, 40s, maybe late 20s. Sure. So you had a mix of Italian fathers, electricians, plumbers, sanitation,
yeah, right.
And they're talking about how they're going to find this guy and they're going to get this guy. So one of the moms goes, listen, why don't you use Patricia, pick a name. She looks really young. Use her as a decoy. This way the guys, just send her every day. We'll send her every day like she goes there, So essentially they set up a sting operation where they were going to use this girl as bait to walk alone, and this guy was to come out and flash her.
Amazing.
And
using one of their daughters for bait.
7 years old, I don't even, like the conversation, honestly, when I was in my teens, it started to resonate with me. Because like a week or 2 later, the same group of guys was over celebrating, and like
they got him.
They were celebrating and they were laughing about the way somebody did something and he never saw it coming. I didn't know you could hit that hard.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, sure. That's how it was.
Again, it's one of those memories where I go, when I think back on it when I was in my teens, and I go, holy Christ! And I went to my father and I'm like, Dad, remember there was a guy flashing people? And he goes, yeah. You never see that guy again.
Yeah, he's not around.
These aren't gangsters.
These aren't gangsters. Like, yeah, you never see that guy around. It's like, give me the coffee.
Yeah. You never see that guy again. It's a piece of garbage, that guy.
Yeah, a piece of garbage.
And then, matter of factly, like, and then Tommy, what time does the Yankee game start? Like, on to the next subject.
Exactly.
That's our neighborhood in a nutshell.
I'll tell you talk about a flasher. My sister was in high school, Lincoln High School, and she's walking. There was a flasher, right? So they flashed the wrong girl, because my sister was always a tough girl, and so he flashed and thought she would like scream and run. She said, "You son of a bitch!" She grabs him, throws him to the ground, right? Jumps on him, starts banging his head against the cement. Police came, was arrested.
Can I say her name, who I think it is?
Yeah, of course.
Is it Loretta?
Of course,
Loretta Lorendi, you're a legend if you're watching.
Beat the crap out of him, got the police, took him away, and went to school. Didn't even miss first class.
And then came home, and at dinner she was like, "You believe this guy flashed me?"
Exactly.
And I beat him up. I'm glad you mentioned Loretta, because like we could talk about the neighborhood for a long time, but honestly, you and I have been friends for a really long time. Some of the stuff that we've done working together in a construction van, some of the characters we come up with, some of the ideas for skits that we come up with are absolutely legendary.
Yeah, it's fun, I know.
Right? You're probably one of the funniest human beings I've ever met.
Yeah, I mean, you can't tell. I mean, you say that, and thank you, but I think I could be funny, but in this
but this isn't what this is about.
This environment is,
this is a talk show.
It's funny because funny happens. It seems spontaneously, organically. Yeah. It's a good word, because we'll talk about something maybe that's serious, right? It could be anything, and then we'll find humor.
Yeah.
We'll find humor, and we create a sketch, and we just start talking as though we're in character, right? And it's I don't know what that is. But you do it, and I do it, and there's a certain amount of us. Like Denny would be great for that.
Denny was phenomenal at it. Croce.
Right. So, we have a friends who, even though, again, we've got to tie it into the neighborhood, we came from this neighborhood where it was really, could have been very violent. Right. But there's also the group, the Italian Americans, us, who saw it from a periphery. We saw them, we knew them, they knew us, but we weren't part of that world.
We always imitated our friends.
Yeah, we would do. Oh, I was easy to do. You know, Craig Pag. I can't say his name, but Craig.
There's
Pags.
different versions of Italians, right? That guy you did. That's that guy, Bobby.
Yeah,
that guy's very. He's very.
What are you crazy? You're talking to me? I says, you know, listen. Let me ask you something. Let me ask you. Did you get laid yet?
Oh, me?
You get laid yet?
Nah.
You gotta get laid.
I'm
what are you waiting for?
10 years old.
Edson, come here. You know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna call Gianni. I'm gonna call Fallow, and we're gonna get a girl down here for you because you.
Where?
You gotta get. We'll get it down here. Your mother's not home.
Is my mother gonna say anything? Am I gonna get in trouble? Right?
No, this is right. No, that was me, right?
And by the way, that guy you're doing is that way at the age of 13.
He's 13, exactly. What are you, crazy, stupid? So,
that's a 13-year-old in 1978.
Absolutely.
Bobby, 13, what are we doing? He's got a cigarette. Bobby, right?
Man, I gotta straighten you out.
I just coughed all over you.
Yeah. How about this? How about this? I get a call. Now we're older. I'm in my 20s. I'm not doing any criminal action, but I got a good friend of mine says, hey, I haven't seen him in a while.
Right.
We're gonna call him Jimmy. So I said, Jimmy, hey, Jimmy, how you been? Good, excellent. You know, we were hugging each other. I says, what are you doing? I said, nothing. Let's sit down. Let's have coffee. We'll go to the diner. We'll sit down. We'll catch up. He goes, yeah. Take a ride with me. I just got to see somebody, man, and then we'll sit. Yeah. So I'm on a job site. You know, I leave, and so we go into a real estate company.
Right.
And we walk in the door, and there's about 6 tables of women, and they're busy, and then there's an office in the back. So John says, hey, where's Eddie? Oh, I don't know, Eddie's not here. So they say, John? So he says,
Jimmy John told us.
Jimmy's same guy. And anyway, so he walks in the back.
Like there's a cop watching going, I need a guy named John from 1984 who did violent stuff in Brooklyn.
Right, right. You know, it's like, too many guys. But anyway, so he goes in the back of his office. He's banging on the door. And the girls are going, he's not here. He's not here. He goes, no, he's here. He's here. Don't tell me. Don't give no bullshit to me. And he's banging on the door. So I'm with him. I'm in the front. I didn't walk in. I stay in the front. And the girls are looking at me like, you know, am I the guy who's armed? You know, sitting there like,
yeah, you're just too calm for the room.
But I'm watching, and I'm a little shocked because I didn't expect this. You know, I was going for coffee and catch up, but he said, just take a ride with me, right? So he's banging, knocks down the door, kicks open the door. And there's the guy, Eddie. He said, John, I got your money. I got your money. So he goes, but not now. I'll get it in an hour.
It's a De Niro movie.
No, it was like a De Niro, but I'm living it. That's like it happened. So he goes, I don't have it now. I'll get it. So John says, listen, I'm going to the diner. I'm gonna be back in about an hour. All right. If there's no money here, we're gonna have a problem. Oh no, don't worry. We walk. So now I know John again since he's 5 years old.
Baby, right,
you know, and I said, John, you don't do this to me. I says, do not, you see, it's bullshit what you did. You know, and I gave him a little back. He goes, well, I didn't get you involved.
All I did was walk into a place and assault somebody over money.
I didn't, you know, you're not involved.
Yeah.
I says, no, I am. I walked in with you. Anyway, but this was a common, this is common stuff.
That is such an everyday occasion. That happened in our neighborhood, right?
Now, you know, fast forward, I have my own 2 adult sons. They lived a completely different life.
Oh, thank God.
Thank God. Yeah,
it's a different world, you know.
But my sons, when I explained some of the stories, the things that happened to us, and he would say, "Would you live in 1930?"
Yeah,
there was like our gang.
It seems like it's impossible, but that's the world we lived in, and we, you know, how the variations of guys that, like, that's one guy, Greg Paganelli. Then there was a contingency of guys that were like on drugs, right? So that's when heroin started coming into play. Like some of that was an anomaly, right? Like in our neighborhood up until the 70s, nobody was a drug addict. But then,
no, I don't think.
But then some guys like.
There were some guys doped up, you know, like the guys on the McDonald Avenue. They were brothers. We'll call them the Murphy brothers.
Yeah, the Murphy brothers.
Even though everybody was Italian, but
they all, you know, there was a movie. I think it was a boxing movie. I want to say Matt Damon or one of the Wahlberg brothers.
Wahlberg, yeah, very good movie. Fighter.
The brother.
He was a dope addict. Christian Bale.
That was exactly the guy we did.
It's funny you said that because as we're watching the movie, I was with my wife and I said, this guy was in our neighborhood. Like Christian Bale character
Yes.
was always there in several of them. You know, just
He
doped
captured
up.
it perfectly.
Perfect. I don't know where-
Bobby. Come on, you do it better than me. Let me try to do the dope. Bobby. Where's your sister?
Listen. You know what? You should go home now. You're not right. You should go home. You're not.
Wow.
You look at me. You're falling asleep.
Nah.
You know what did you do today, man?
What, are you hungry, bro?
No, listen. You should go home because no one's here today. Just.
We're on pizza.
Are you okay? What'd you do earlier today?
Bobby. How's your father?
Listen.
I don't know if that's the right way. I like the way you do it, brother. I'm imitating you, imitating them.
That's funny. No, no, because the dope addicts would be, and Christian Bale, I mean, God bless him, he did a great job, but these guys would be there and say, yeah, listen, we're gonna go now, man. You gotta come with me. So they're coherent, you know, but not quite, you know.
Right.
Pick it up.
He's almost falling out.
He's almost there, but you know, he's fighting those eludes or whatever he's doing. So you gotta come with me, man, because we're gonna go.
Bobby.
Yeah. Come.
Where are we going?
Listen, man.
What?
Come on, you gotta go. We got this thing.
I'm not going with you.
Yeah, we're gonna make money today. We're gonna make money.
What are you on? What did you take? Bobby.
Nothing. Now I'm tired. No, I'm just tired. I didn't sleep last night. You didn't sleep. You didn't sleep last night. Oh man.
The greatest is that we'll be on a roof, and you'll do that.
I can't do it.
Dude, it kills me. I don't know. It's like a one-man show when I'm hanging out with you. Like that reminds me of the days on the roof, you know.
Oh, but I gotta get zoned in. But that was the guy. That was the guy, and
it's great.
He'd be on the corner. He'd be by the pizzeria. You know, we'd see him. It'd be no big deal. He'd be part of the landscape of the neighborhood. Everyone knew him. If he was drugged up, they'd take him home. If he was strung out on the floor, we knew where he lived.
Mother and father would be upset. Thank you for taking him home.
Thanks for taking him home, man. No problem.
Those days are so different, man. I wish we could really capture that in a movie. There's really never been a movie that really captured it yet. You know, that really captured the essence of our neighborhoods, because we weren't unique. I think we were unique in the sense that, I mean, Bay Ridge, Bensonhurst, Dyker, they were all the same as Gravesend, I would assume, right? Wasn't there similarities, or were there differences between the neighborhoods in Brooklyn?
That's the funny thing is, at Gravesend, they were the Avenue U boys, right? And then the Avenue X boys. I mean, they're two avenues away from each other, but it was like, you know, they were very territorial.
Yeah.
So if the Avenue, look, you can go anywhere, because you and I were not part of a group of this gang mentality, so you can come and go.
A couple of years I might have...
Well, yeah.
A couple of years I was... There are people watching that might disagree with that.
They're saying, bullshit.
He was an animal.
Oh, shit. Wait, what are you trying to rewrite history?
That's what's funny, man. There are people that know me and swear to God I guess I am a caveman animal in my own right. But I always say, when you pick the top 100 toughest guys from Avenue X, I come in around 450. Like there's 100 ahead of me. There's
and yet you were not a pushover. You were part of now that you mentioned it, I forgot. You actually hung on Avenue X and East First Street.
Come on now.
You know, and you know, I'm sure you swung a golf club at someone's head at some point.
Golf club swung.
You got hit in the head.
Yeah, I got hit that golf club. That's one of the ones I don't like to remember.
Yeah, no.
Because I felt like I let my guard down, even though I got hit from behind.
Oh, you got
hit me in the head.
Yeah, that's not fair.
God, I remember that fight. We used to have fights. See, that's the problem. There weren't really a lot of guns around, but when we got into a fight with another neighborhood, this happened to be like either Kings Highway or think about how stupid that is.
Right, they're less than they're like a quarter mile away. Right. It's not even.
We all grew up together, played baseball against each other. So like 2 or 3 of us were in a club, 2 or 3 guys, and the rest of us were hanging out on the avenue, and we get a phone call to the pay phone. Everybody knew it's like the bat phone. Yeah, you call the pay phone if you got a beef, and somebody will pick it up. Somebody picks up the phone and he's like, "Rocco got beef," or somebody's,
Right.
Let's go. So we pile into cars and we go, and it was a setup. Like say like Avenue L and the Kings Highway guys and Bay Parkway got together, and they said, when we get these guys will come and we'll converge on them.
Yeah.
Like warfare. And that was the fight when I realized how really bad things are getting, like as far as violence in Brooklyn, because we came to fight, but these guys had golf clubs and bats, and the guy had a bat with a nail on it.
Yeah, nunchucks.
And I remember looking at him from across the street, and I'm going, "Is that the shortstop from Gil Hodges?
Yeah.
Why is he trying to kill?" Didn't we play baseball against these guys?
No
and then I
doubt.
got hit with a golf club, and I'm not gonna say his last name, but his name was Anthony. God rest his soul.
Oh wow.
I'll never forget watching him. I don't know how this turned into this, but I don't care. Whatever. He got hit with a bat in his forehead, right? And you would think he would just go down for the count. He went down to one knee, took his shirt off, he was bleeding, wrapped it around his head and went, "Come on." To the guy.
Oh my God.
I remember that moment.
Like Rambo.
You know. Anyway, that was our neighborhood growing up. It was
Yeah.
very violent, but there was groups of us that weren't. And interestingly, like you'd have, like your father, Nat Lorendi, who by the way looks exactly like Vince Lombardi.
Vince Lombardi, yeah.
He used to look exactly like
Vince
Vince
picture
Lombardi.
him would be like Vince Lombardi. I look like my mother.
Yeah, well, you got a little bit of Vince in there.
Yeah, really? Okay.
Yeah, you do look more like your mother, though.
Yeah, I'm like a kind of Ben Stiller.
You
kind of
Jerry
thing.
Seinfeld.
Jerry Seinfeld. And
Yeah,
when
yeah.
I was younger, it was John Travolta.
Yeah, you're very
Weird
handsome.
what? Weird. I'm so confused.
Woo!
Thank you. Yeah, nice to do. All right, do my imitation.
Bye. That's you.
Yeah. But,
I stole so many of your lines. I use them on my sons. I use the one, "How many guys do you know? How many guys you know could just host a TV show like this?
yeah.
How many guys you know could just have a phone laying down on the thing like this?"
Tommy.
Look who's here, Michael Artsis. In
Oh,
real
look,
life.
shit. Actually,
In real life.
Actually has
In real life.
in real life.
And he brought you coffee.
Oh my gosh.
That's it. He's got his suit on. He's not staring at his phone, which is an anomaly in and of itself. He'll get it out.
Oh, that's fantastic. Look at him.
Look at
Seems
him.
healthy.
Oh,
Oh,
look at
nice.
this. Welcome to
Oh,
Be
my
Terrific,
gosh.
Bob Lorendi. Welcome
This is
to
a
Be Terrific.
professional organization, and I respect everyone. Thank you so much.
Very good.
Oh my gosh, you're the man. I love it. Thank
Very
you.
nice. Very nice.
Welcome.
Very good. No napkin?
No.
Saying maybe.
The busboy will be by.
Very good. Very good.
We'll get you a whole wrap.
I like how you come in like you just
Oh, that
signed
is so
a
good.
10-year deal with Cumulus Radio, and then you also delivered a bagel. I respect
Yeah,
that about you.
Exactly.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. Maybe you should bring a bagel to Cumulus next time.
Wow, that is so nice.
Isn't that good?
Yes.
You happy?
I am happy now. Now I could relax and.
Tell me about Nat Lorendi, man.
Well, you know the thing is with Nat Lorendi, my father is so much more interesting than I am.
You're not going to get an argument from me on that
No,
one.
no, Nat Lorendi. Okay, first off, who is he? That's my father, who's an immigrant from Italy. Came here in 1929, just before the Great Depression, right, and the crash of '29.
Yeah.
He gets here a month before that, but. Unlike he never, and I asked him, I said, you know, you were here, you were 6 years old, it was 1929, probably the worst time to get here.
Right.
Did you feel depression? Did you feel like, did you wait on soup lines? And he said, no, my father always worked. We always had money, and never did I feel any of the depression that was, nationally.
Well, he landed in New York and he was working in New York.
His father, and he's six,
Father.
right? So
What did his father do?
And what did his father do? He sold bananas. So, and I said, he sold bananas. He goes, no, but not only did he sell them, he would be almost like a wholesaler. Everyone would come to him, and he would put all them on the carts, on all the push carts. So he would be the main, distributor in a sense. So, and in
he would have a cart
1933, and a physical
in the
wooden
dirt roads
cart.
of New York, just like driving around.
And he
selling
started
bananas.
in East New York, not East New York and Brooklyn, but lower East Manhattan, where it was probably more Chinese nowadays, but where the Italian slums were, And then in 1933, he had enough money to buy a house in Brooklyn, and at that time it was considered the suburbs. Gravesend was
like-
a Shangri-La. There was space,
Yeah.
It wasn't like Manhattan, and it was very cluttered and ghetto-like, and a lot of Italians and Irish, and he felt a lot of. I remember him telling me, growing up, the Irish just despised him, and gave him a hard time and beat him up all the time.
Yeah.
So it was an interesting.
Every group of immigrants goes through it, right?
Yeah, for sure. But they bought a house in 1933. which was
It's a big
unheard
deal.
of.
I wonder how much he paid for it back then.
Yeah, that's a great question. But
What do you think? It was like 25, like $500 maybe, or
30,
maybe
it might
less.
have been in the thousands.
I mean, in the
Like
thousands?
$2,000.
Yeah,
you
like
know,
something like that,
crazy.
yeah.
You know, you.
Yeah, my aunt on Court Street, same story. Her father bought the building on Court Street for like $5,000, right?
Right.
Or like three or $5,000.
Right.
And I'll never forget, in like 2006, she called my father, and she was like at 90 at that time, panicked because she said some people are trying to scam her, telling her that they're going to give her $2 million for her building.
Oh my
And
gosh.
she didn't understand.
Yeah.
She thought it was a big scam, and my father had to tell her, like,
That's the gentrification, right?
it's worth. That's what it's worth. She couldn't even fathom. You know?
Well, now you're talking about something else. Brooklyn's exploded since that time. You know?
Yeah, it's crazy what's going on there. But listen, your father.
Yeah,
I love your
I don't want to
father's
get off
story.
because that's a whole other subject.
I know, but I love your father's story.
But he has a great story. So then he went to. Here's the thing. When my father was 14, and my grandfather had this successful wholesale business, which he sold fruits at that point. Now he was going to get together with the butcher, and they were going to open an actual store on Coney Island Avenue. And so things might have been really prosperous, but what happened was he got hit by a car on the push cart. An automobile hit him
Your
and killed
grandfather?
him. My grandfather.
Oh, wow.
And kills him. And so my father then becomes the man of the family at 14. And he's now has to both go to
This is
school
like
and work.
1940, 1939, 1940.
You're right. 41. In 41 he was 18. So
Wow.
he was 14.
So he had to go to work.
30 something, 38.
Yeah, man.
He had to go to work.
Think about what Brooklyn was like in 1938.
Oh my gosh.
This city was crazy back then.
But you know, here's the thing. I don't want to get too political, but it wasn't a welfare state. There was no safety net.
Right.
1938. So grandma, his mother, started sewing, making clothes. Because now they have a house, no father, no more business.
Everybody's got to get to work.
And there were 5 in the family, and so my father was was the oldest. Actually, he wasn't. Uncle Frank was, but he was shot. He was nuts.
I remember Uncle Frank, by the way.
Later on, he was just crazy.
Uncle Frank was a hoarder.
He was a hoarder.
He was the first I've ever seen of a real hoarder.
Right.
He couldn't go into he had 65,000 newspapers laying around.
Newspapers you could sit on. It was like furniture.
I remember the first time I met him. The first time I met him, we were talking to him, and he seemed like so cool and like eclectic and like this really artistic, like different guy. And then you're talking to him, and he's making you laugh, and you're making him laugh, and then all of a sudden something caught his eye. It was a cigarette in the gutter, and he picked it up and lit it and started smoking it.
Yeah,
and
that's
you
about.
just waited for him to light it, and then you looked at me and you went, Uncle Frank. You know?
Right.
Yeah,
right.
man.
It was not unusual for me to say. You know,
but here's this guy.
But he was
this
an interesting guy.
But your father's an immigrant, and then he has to get his own. He has to make his own way.
Yeah.
And then he winds up going to school. And he.
Oh yeah.
Right.
So you know, okay, no, but now he graduates Lincoln High School, and at the tender age of 18, there in 1941, gets drafted, and he goes to World War II. And because he speaks fluent Italian, he got an opportunity to be an intelligence agent, and he was intercepting communication from the Germans and the Italians. So he got into this situation right from the start. And
he was a very, very smart guy, by the way.
He was always a smart guy, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, even though he was hustling and supporting the family,
but
he
it's
managed to go to school and do well.
It's interesting to me because there's an intelligence there. Like there's a level of intelligence that, they could put him in that position, but after 1 or 2 hours, they're going to see this guy's a dimwit. So, but I mean, in the military,
no, it's true.
Because I know how smart he was. I saw the end result of his life and who he was. But I'm just picturing him as a young man, knowing him the way I know him. He slipped right into that position, and he probably helped immediately. He was a very smart guy.
You got to remember too, you know, if you're in charge of the family at 14, by the time you're 18, 19 years old, you're a responsible young person.
You're
you know?
a man.
And unlike us and even the new generation, you know, we were maturing later on
in a different way,
because a lot of things were handed to us and whatever.
That's
not
right.
everybody, not me, but you know, every generation. So so he meets my mother in Verona. And Italy, and she was under Mussolini and studying fascism at the time. God. You know, she would.
Your mother was beautiful too.
Yeah, God bless her. She was beautiful, and she was. But they
Laura.
met. Laura. Yeah.
You couldn't introduce your mother as Laura.
That's right.
She would correct you.
She's Lauda. She was originally Loretta, and somehow it became Laura. But anyway, they met and came to America. And my mother, which is another interesting thing, I don't want to get too deep into that, but she always loved Italy, missed her family. And me as a kid, I used to say, come on, you're an American now, forget Italy. You know, I was such this American pig attitude I had. You know. I was pro-America, which I still am. But the idea was, hey, you're here in this country, speak English. You know? And she would try to teach me Italian. God forbid I'd be bilingual today, like my brother and my sister.
Yeah,
no, I was very stubborn. But later,
that's funny.
When I 21, when I actually went to Italy and I met her family and my family, I said, "Oh my God, these people are beautiful,
it's a different
loving
world.
people." And now I finally understand my mother and what she missed.
The beauty of Italy, when you go there as an Italian, I say my DNA starts to tingle.
Yeah,
it's like I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave. Like the true Italian, It's a
different Italian too.
It's a different Italian. It's a different world over there. They're very, very loving, very passionate about everything. You might have 7 different political beliefs in one family and they're all screaming at each other about it. But then when it comes time to be a family, it's like, there's never any animosity. Well, I'm sure I'm maybe sugarcoating it a little bit, but the food, the mountains, the air, the sea, all of it. Italy, there's no place like it.
Well,
and they welcomed you, right? Like
it was amazing, the welcome, and even for me, I'm this cynical American, and I remember going there, 21 years old, with, by the way, 3 of my friends, and we stayed with my cousins who were, you know, our age.
Right.
And we hung with them, went to the beach, went to the club, met their friends, went to pizzerias.
They loved you.
And when we left, we were there for about 5 days with them. We cried. We hugged each other, and we actually cried like we're going to miss each other.
Yeah, man.
And that I didn't expect of me, you know, because, again, I was pretty arrogant and smug, like, you know, I'm from Brooklyn, and I'm an American.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, but there's a certain smugness that I had, and it humbled me to say, wow, I really miss these people.
Yeah, right.
And I understood my mother,
and
too.
The girls in Italy at the time.
The girls, well, there was curfews, forget about it. It's insane, especially down south.
Right.
I remember we actually took some girls out.
Oh, my God.
There was 4 of us.
Did you almost get killed?
They said, yeah, sure, we'll go out with you. Yeah, we'll go for ice cream at night. And it was like 8 o'clock at night, and they show up where we were staying with their parents. I said, no, and this was in Agropoli. It was down south. So it was down south. So they show up with their parents, and they go, "Okay, we go now." I go, "We go now." We all went. We all went for ice cream with the parents.
I was in Ravello, Italy. I was in Ravello for Sal Stabile's wedding, right? And I tell this story all the time. I'm walking up the mountain in Ravello, and there's this place called the Limoncello Factory. It's it's obviously in Italian. The words are in Italian, like Il Factoria del Limoncello, right?
Yeah.
And you're walking up this hill, and I see this thing called the Limoncello Factory, and I had fallen in love with limoncello. It's the greatest, the most delicious thing.
Greatest invention, yeah,
right?
It's true.
It's alcohol and lemonade, and you don't even know how drunk you're getting. And in Italy, it's strong. And I looked through the window, because I go, oh, I got to get some limoncello to take home. And I was with this kid who was with me. He was like in his 20s. And I see through the window the most beautiful Italian girl, angelic. And behind her are like 2 giant silver vats of alcohol, and then like 650 trillion lemons, right? And she's just cutting the lemons, and she's angelic, beautiful, like Sophia Loren beautiful, like just ridiculous. And you're going, why is the most beautiful woman in the world cutting lemons in the back of a room here in Italy, right? So I go to the kid, I go, look, I forgot his name, it was one of Sal's friends. I said, if you don't try to talk to her and take her out on a date, you failed at life. I'm an old married man.
Yeah, you're right.
And he's like, I don't know how to speak Italian. I go, no. Io piace. That's all you have to know. All right? It means I like you. I like.
Yeah, I like.
Right? So we go in, and I'm talking to her, and he's shy, and he's like devastated by how pretty she is. So in my broken Italian, I say, look, why don't you come and meet Paul, his name was, meet Paul in the square for dinner, right? And so somehow they agree, and She writes her name down. Her name was Stefania. And I go, Paul, we did it. And he goes, you did it. I don't know what to say to her. You know, he was nervous. So we go back to the restaurant that she's supposed to meet us at. And we're telling the waiter, who at that time was calling me Il Padrino, the Godfather, because I'm Italian American.
Yeah,
You guys don't know, you know, you think everything's the Godfather. So I'm telling him the story about this girl, and the waiter looks at me, he looks at Paul, he goes, Stefania? No. This is no good.
No.
This is no good. You can't come over here.
Why no good?
She has 5 brothers.
Oh boy.
And a ragingly crazy father.
Yeah, right.
Do you know that I didn't know, but that night all of them came to that restaurant looking for Paul and me.
Oh man, you got this kid in trouble.
They were raging. Like, who are these Americans coming in trying to? I don't know what they thought. We were going to scoop her up or something, you know.
Yeah. Well,
but they're so protective,
soil her, you know.
right? They're so They're so protective of their women.
But I would say it's down south, you know.
But this was Ravello.
Well, Ravello's down south, but it's a little more cosmopolitan,
Yeah, it's
touristy.
beautiful.
The thing is,
Yeah.
it's down south. We were in like Naples or Gropoli is down
Right.
south. But if you go to Rome and above, it's a little more
Westernized, progressive,
and, you know, and the women are not so subservient. And they don't accept their husband to have gumadas like they did in the past.
Is that
you
what
know?
they do?
Yeah.
They used to, the old school Italy.
Yeah,
Well,
like if you had a girlfriend, it's like,
listen.
yeah, it's my husband. You know, hey, what do you?
I can't believe you brought that up.
Yeah.
My favorite line from
I
a
know what
woman.
you're gonna
What
say.
is it? Tell me.
We're hunters.
Yeah.
Right. I know.
Because you said, see, the beautiful thing about Bobby is that you would do these interviews with your parents, impromptu over coffee, almost like I was the audience and you're interviewing them.
Yeah, right.
Because they were so interesting. They were such interesting people, and you found them interesting, and you found their lives interesting.
Yeah.
And you, at one time, as is after your father passed away, God bless him, man, that you're talking to your mother and you say, Ma, you know, just to egg her on, you would say, Ma, did you think Daddy ever cheated on you?
Right.
You remember that conversation?
Yeah,
Can you tell me, do you remember it, or do I have to do it?
No, you'd have to do it because I remember my mother was incredibly candid.
She was like, I don't care if
She would be like, I don't know, I think he might have did when she had a time frame. I think he might have did it when that time when I had a Loretta. You know, like
October.
it was about
From
that
October
time.
to March.
He was just so busy, always so busy at the school.
And you.
And I'd say, so I think maybe, but you know, the men, they have to do that. They have to do that because the men, they're hunters. You see, and they have to hunt. You can't change that.
What did she say? The men are hunters?
Hunters, yeah. Hunter with the broken English. They're
The
hunters.
men, they're hunters.
They're hunters.
They have to hunt.
And they have to hunt, and that's the way it is. You can't stop. But he's a good man. He's a good husband. As like you know, that's my dad.
No, you were great because you would go. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
It's okay for him to cheat on you. You're saying it's okay for him to cheat on you. You wouldn't just let that go.
Yeah, well,
Cheat. This is what men have to do. Men are hunters. They have to hunt.
so practical, but I don't know if.
I was at the
I
table.
don't know. You know.
I was there. I just thought it was the greatest line of all time. I say it to my wife now. I say, you know, Laura used to say it's okay for us. We're hunters. We have to hunt.
Yeah, you can't change your DNA.
I say it from the other room. And my wife was like, yeah, you can hunt me. Go hunt the garbage and take that out.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
Like, you know.
Well, I think she once told my girlfriend, who's now my wife, you know, men are hunters. They have to, that's still how they are.
She said it to your future wife.
Yeah, and she goes, you know, men, you can't have, that's the way it is. But, you know, if they're good men, they come back home, they raise the kids, they're good to their wife. That's a good man.
God bless her.
I don't know. You know, I don't know if that was a conversation she was having. Did she really believe that?
Who knows, man?
I don't know. She sounded like she did, and she was okay with it. I don't know if she was okay with it. It's just.
Is anybody really ever okay with it?
I don't know if
right?
he could be, you know, because I also know my mother was, you know, also protective and jealous. So, but she did have that conversation. She did say that.
So many things she would say like that, man. And then
my
your
wife
father.
said, you know, that's not ever going to be us. My wife said, your mother, maybe that's your mother, but it's never going to be us.
Don't start that nonsense in this house, right? Do you remember the way your father used to wear a towel around the house?
Well, that's the beautiful thing about him.
He's a genius, intellect.
Yeah, well, towel. So, to get back, you know, when he got back, you know, from the war,
right?
brought back his war bride. He
he met your mother in
Yeah,
in Italy, in Verona.
And took her back. You
Did
know,
he did he explain to you how the meeting happened? How does that?
He did, and then when I went back to see my cousins, you know, back in '81, and later I saw them again and again. We've been back several times. They showed me the spot in which he saw her for the first time.
Wow.
Because they even know the story. It's funny. It's very intimate, the family. They know the stories of everyone, and they love it. You know, like if I told my kids today, I'd be like, yeah, it's good. Put on the ball game.
I know.
It's a little different. You know, again, I think it's an American thing. That's what I think it is. It's cultural.
Right.
But we try to instill, like, how about having, you know, sympathy and empathy and family. And I think my boys.
Your kids are incredible, man.
Yeah, they're good.
I think we have
kids.
the same thing with my sons.
Yeah, to get that sense of family.
Yeah, there's a weird. That's right. That's funny. I don't even know if we should go down this road, but that cultural thing about us as Italians, I think we kind of stick to that. You know, we're very.
Yeah.
For as crazy and as wild as we can be, we're very family focused.
You know,
very
I was about
loyal,
to say
right?
that. You know, when we were younger, they used to call our family. I'm number 6 of 6 kids.
I know.
And you know, when you have a big family like that, there's a lot of chaos going on, and a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
And we have a history of it where I had one sister who got into drugs, and another sister who got pregnant early on.
Yeah.
And things like that.
Right.
But you know, and sometimes people would refer to us as the Addams family. You know. So
yeah, you guys are so unique and different. That's right. But
I laugh now, though, because I go back and I see my sisters and I said, look, we were the Addams family, but look at us now. We are there for each other, and I don't know what my parents did, but somehow my brother Dom and Loretta and Diana, we had this connection that we're there for each other.
Yep.
Even if you don't talk, we could, and you know, it's beautiful, too. And I saw my 2 sisters. We had dinner together at Diana's house, and Loretta says something to Diana, and she gets completely upset. Well, banging on the table, this is what you did, and you know, you come here and you say this crap, and she gets off the table, she leaves, and I look at Loretta, and she goes, like, Loretta just looks at us and says, well, you know, she's, are we gonna have coffee, or?
like nothing, because she knows she's coming back in 5 minutes,
back in,
and it's over.
Do I get my own coffee?
We
and
do.
cake?
We do that.
And she came back in. I said, listen, man, I can't have you. Kiss and make up, and we make a joke of it, and they actually hugged each other.
Yeah.
So that's an amazing quality.
That's the beauty of the Italian Americans, right?
I think so, and I think I see it, and we're pretty good. My parents did something right. I don't know what they did, but they instilled that idea.
Maybe in that day and age, you're a big family, very unique, different personalities. But in the 60s, 70s, even into the 80s, you may have stood out a little bit for that time frame. But if you put you guys in this day and age, you're one of the most clean-cut, stable families that could exist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's insanity going on right now with people. You know, with the way the world runs. Like you guys, like Kim Kardashian is famous right now.
Yeah.
She is world famous right now. In the 70s, she would be.
No, she would be disgraced.
She would be a disgrace. Just absolutely disgraced.
Especially go back to the 50s and 40s,
right.
She'd be run out of
so
town.
So it's a different universe right now. You know, the idea that, you know, and.
Oh boy.
So wait, so your father, here's what I want to talk about with your father, man. I didn't expect this to turn into an interview, but I'm happy it did. So your father, he meets your mother. I want to get to the point now when he comes back to New York. Well, he met her in Verona on that spot, and there's a story with that, right?
Well, I don't know. You know, they fell in love, and they dated, and they had to meet her parents.
And how old was she?
Oh boy, yeah. So
younger.
So if it's 41, she had to be young, because if he's 19 or 20,
yeah, but all right, so
she's got to be 17, 18.
Yeah, right.
She's young. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So she's 18, and then she comes back to America. Think about a family in Italy saying, "Okay, take my daughter back to America."
Well, okay. Here's the perspective.
Right.
Now, my mother was born in Yonkers, New York, right?
Okay.
And she was born in Yonkers. Yonkers, right? Her and her sister. So it's only 2 of them.
Oh wow.
And there's Joseph Ortellatano from Italy, marries Susan McCluskey.
Oh wow.
So an Irish woman. And before my mother is 1, she dies of tuberculosis.
Her mother.
Yes. So she never really knew her mother.
Life was so dangerous at that time.
Yeah,
People
right.
are just getting hit by cars, tuberculosis.
Yeah, exactly.
You're down for the count. You're done.
Changes everything.
One wrong step and it's over.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think it might be true today. You know, it's
It is true
it's
today, but like tuberculosis?
No,
You know what I
we
mean?
have that down.
You're done.
Well, although it's coming back now with all the immigrants, but that's another story.
Yeah, we'll knock it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
You know.
So,
Right.
so Joseph Talatano, her father, says, what am I going to do with these two girls? I can't raise them. He was in construction. He was doing cement work.
What am I going to do with these girls? What do I know about this?
What do I know? He was single now, right?
Right.
So his mentality was either I marry someone to watch the kids.
I just had a moment in my head where his wife dies. He's in the doorway looking at these two girls. He goes, nah, I got to send these girls to Italy. So I can't do this. I can't do this. It's not like the Hallmark story where the guy goes, and then I'll raise you and you'll be my daughters.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I got to send them somewhere.
Well, yeah, and that's
Who do I know?
which gets into my mother and her sister. When my mother accepted it, her sister was always angry. Her father.
Oh, wow. Of course.
Yeah,
She had
so
abandonment issues.
That's what it was. But not so much for my mother, because what happens is they went back to Italy and they lived with his family, her aunt.
In Verona, Italy.
In Verona.
You're
Well,
going
first it was down south
beautiful.
in Reggio Calabria and Cariati, which was by the beach. And then later they migrated up to Verona later. But here she's 1 year old, 2 years old. And so she thinks her aunt is her mother, right? Because she doesn't know. She's
Right.
being raised.
Wow.
And all those children are her sisters and brothers. I think at maybe 10 or 12, they tell her that you're really not, your mother died and whatever. And so she was so ingrained, this is a family, she said, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know anything else.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go.
Yeah.
I know the Twitch. I got to read it. Hey, Johnny, what's up, buddy? TJ Stone of Media Circus. Thank you. Go. Love you guys. You're the best. Twitch. Go.
Yeah, man. So that's what she knew, and that's what. So she speaks Italian. She knows Italy. She doesn't know anything yet. She's an American citizen because she was born in Yonkers.
Right. So here's this girl who's not really anybody's daughter. She's my brother's daughter, right? It's her aunt
Right,
raised
my
her,
brother's
right.
daughter, right?
So all right. So that's
Palmina's
perspective.
mother.
So that's when she's 18.
So when I go back just to Italy when I'm 21, I meet who she thinks was her sister, Palmina, which was really her cousin.
Oh wow.
And so when I go back, this is like her
Palmina?
sister's Palmina.
Palmina.
And so she goes back and so that's why I'm embraced, because she's seeing her sister's son.
When I hear names like that, it just makes me want to make a baby.
Yeah. Nice
That's why I love my wife so
Giancarlo.
much. Her name is Josephine.
Yeah,
I think the first thing I fell in love with was her name. You know, because she's so Italian.
Yeah.
And then she spoke, and I was like, all right, you got me. She's very Italian.
Well,
American.
She's Italian American.
She's a little slightly different accent. Affectation, as it were.
Yeah,
All right, go ahead, please.
a little bit.
Wait, Stefania, Palmina.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
just like, all right, let's make 50 babies right now because we're in Italy, and your name is Palmina. I mean, go ahead, man.
Anyway,
so you meet
that's
her.
what she did, and then you grew up. They migrated up to Verona for some reason. She has a great, beautiful family, and they're in business. They sell seltzer. That's their business. They said seltzer bottles, and
That's so great.
And they sold it, and then so they were judges, and they were educated people in the family. And then she meets my father in the war. So I guess it was like, hey, go to America. Like, what do this American loves you, and go to America. It's weird for us to think about something like that. It seems like a drastic, gigantic move.
It seems insane, right?
But when there's 13 children to take care of, or
Well,
whoever's
also the scope, the way the world was changing back then. You're talking about World War II. The Nazis were defeated. Italy, half of Italy
It's regrouping.
is regrouping. Half of Italy wanted to. They killed Mussolini, rightfully so, and then it's all this mayhem. So America's looking pretty good at that time.
Oh, for sure.
And usually it's all the time America's looking good, looking great right now.
Yeah, we're looking
but,
good. We're
right,
looking good.
from any other perspective.
Right.
But specifically back then, you go, all right, America.
Yeah.
Because I knew your mother in her later years, and she wasn't a big fan of America. When she regretted coming here, she always talked about Italy with such reverence, you know.
Because that family that she had was never recreated here. My father's family was distanced, you know, were cold.
Stone.
They were cold, and he had
They're very
5 brothers. You know,
stone-faced, right?
yeah, and they looked at her. They were suspicious.
You know something? They weren't. That's a wrong way to put it. The Lorendis are very guarded in their emotions.
Yeah, I would say so.
But fun. But fun and carefree, great sense of humor, all the Lorendis, loyal as hell, but not like that archetypal, like Italian family, right? Like Laura's family. Palmina.
Yeah, those...
et al.
Those, et al. Those...
See what I'll do? From time to time, I'll throw in a very intelligent phrase.
I'm not sure what that is.
Et al.
Yeah, et al. I
Like
see.
Palmina et al. Means Palmina and her friends,
I see.
people of that ilk.
Nice.
I'll just say ilk,
good.
like a mug, Okay.
Yeah.
So, they come back to Brooklyn. Your father.
But you know, you don't want the minutia of the details of all that. I mean, really, you want to get into his career. My father made a career, which was interesting.
I'm winging it right now, and I'm interested in every single thing you're saying.
Wow.
You know, I'm also getting text messages from electricians. You know.
Yeah, they're running into problems.
No.
Oh.
It's all good.
Yeah. Well.
What is this? All right, go ahead.
That's pretty funny.
All right, talk to me. No, I had notes. It's funny, I had notes, and none of this is happening.
Well, that's
none
what
of my
happens
notes.
when you
I
have
don't
a
care.
discussion. You know,
Good.
it goes into different areas.
I love it.
But
I do want to talk about your father's career.
I don't know. You know, look, I think it's interesting. I'm not sure how interesting it is.
I don't care who says what.
So now they come back to America. Let's come back here now.
Right.
Starts a family, looking for work, and he's working on televisions that were the new big thing, television repair, but ultimately he joins the NYPD.
He's working on television repair.
Yeah. Because he went to Delahanty. Everyone would know Delahanty. It's the study for the civil service tests.
Right.
My father-in-law did the same. Went to Delahanty and studied, and he went a correction officer.
Delahanty.
Yeah, it was like this school. You go to Delahanty, and they'll teach you.
I never heard of Delahanty. Yeah. So Delahanty was the place where all the civil service workers would go and study.
Yeah.
For the civil service test.
Yeah. So we go to Delahanty. Okay, prep it. You go and you study.
Isn't that the other thing about us, Italian, our whole neighborhood?
Everyone went.
Everybody's 90% of our neighborhood is civil service.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
well, that's a good job. Or you worked for the gas company.
But even to this day, I don't know any family that doesn't have one or two people working for the Board of Ed on the female side, and men. It's sanitation, fire department, NYPD, police. Corrections officer, court officer,
exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Because if you're an immigrant...
Because it's security.
It's security.
And that's the biggest thing you were looking
that's
for.
Right.
I mean, look, I think it's come around today. Today, those jobs are really like a golden ticket in a sense. You may not... these guys now make good money, firemen in six figures, and so are the cops. And then later... You finish a career in police with the police department, you got the security afterwards, and security is such a big thing today.
It's true, but then there's that element of create your own security, and that's why I think our generation focused on our kids' education more.
Well, yeah, because now we're looking at white collar. How about they become doctors and dentists and lawyers and judges and because. Our parents maybe didn't have that mentality. Some did, don't get me wrong, because the next generation always does better in civil service,
There's some of that, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But this generation, like our children now, we're looking for them. Although I'm not so sure that it's the best way, because let me just backtrack for a moment. We grew up in a tightly knit neighborhood. Right. Everyone knew each other and helped each other. And there's a great amount of healthiness about that. You feel a sense of, you're anchored.
Yes.
And when you're anchored in love and community and a sense of belonging, these are the things that really work best.
That's right.
For people.
That's right.
Like in order to go forward. And that's why there's bad results in those areas that don't have a good solid anchor.
That's true.
Right? And we talked about that once before. So if you don't have a good mom and dad who loves you, well, there's studies on top of studies that show those kids will have a harder time being successful in their lives. And also a sense of security. When things go wrong, well, you learn from when you were a baby that it's okay, because you always had your home, your parents, and in our case, the community was also a great foundation for us. Let's fast forward today. I have 2 sons. One went to Boston College. The other went to Providence College.
Smart boys, man.
Bright kids, and they have jobs that maybe are mobile. So they both work in Manhattan. But what's to say one has to go to London, another one is going to go to St. Louis for a job opportunity. Now we say, great, look, they're white collar, they're moving up the ladder, they're making good money. But wait, what happened
to the community?
To the community, to us, and what are we going to do for Christmas? I'm going to St. Louis,
Yeah.
or am I going to London? Is he going to fly
right.
in? You see, it sounds glorious, but really I think the best paradigm is actually keeping the community together and
Yeah.
for your mental and physical health and and
that's a great
happiness.
point. You know what happens though? What I'm finding with my kids is that you have these subsets of people that start to gravitate to each other. Like your kids went to a certain high school, my kids went to a certain high school and go to play baseball in a certain place, and sports in a certain place, and then within that subset, like, okay, let's take sports for instance. My kids have both been playing sports their whole life. Even within the parents of the athletes that play, there's another subset that don't take that sport so seriously, and they're academic. And I'm watching as people break off and then stay in touch for maybe 5, 6, 7 years. The moms think the same way. My wife is very, very dialed in on academics, rightfully so. Without her, my kids would be dribbling, drooling idiots. You know, they'd be smart idiots, but they'd be idiots. She's amazing at it. We talked about this.
Yeah.
And we both play our part. But within our own little culture of people, still leftovers in Brooklyn, there's even smaller subsets. Like, all right, that's the academic crew. That's the crew that wants to play football. That's the baseball crew, and they go to dinner together, and they go to dinner. They're even breaking off now. Whereas when we grew up, we didn't compartmentalize like that, right?
That's true.
You're right. It's more of a community.
And even with age, when we played sports as kids, we were fortunate that everyone would be available. It would be the summer. You walk out of your house, and there's 30 kids.
Unbelievable.
Okay. Then we go to the field.
Hold on. People can't, like, we gloss over that. People can't imagine the magic of that moment. When it used to snow, it was my favorite time in the world.
Yeah, it's true.
Because it meant tackle football on the grass
snow,
in Trump Village.
Right.
And I mean,
that was glorious.
Think about
I know,
it.
and I did the same thing.
And I had my brother's helmet, and my uncle's, my cousin's shoulder pads, and some goofy football pants, and we used to go, and you'd get upset if there was only 20, 25 kids, right? You're like, oh man, it's not, where is everybody?
Right.
That's gone. That's gone.
It is gone. I don't care where you go.
It's gone.
Not available anymore.
That's why there's a lot of fat kids out there.
Well, you know, now you hit on some great subjects. I mean, you talk about, first off, what happened to that. I think with the advent of media and
technology,
the understanding that there are pedophiles and stolen kids, do you think kids are stolen any more than it was back in 1972? No,
I mean, I haven't taken any recently, no.
You haven't.
I've curtailed it a little bit.
See, things change over time.
Right.
Especially when you get older.
Right,
you tend not to do it.
The energy's not there. You know, there's no ambition.
Well, so now we learned that somebody in Manhattan was stolen. Boom. We were paranoid. That's why we became, quote, helicopter parents, you know, my generation.
That's right.
Our generation. So we watch everything.
I know, I do it.
And so now they can't get on the bicycle like we did. You got on your bike and you went. I'll see you later.
It's so true.
No, we have to watch because you may not come back. We were paranoid. And media, the advent of seeing everything immediately and being aware of it, because statistically, those who are abducted are usually a family member. Like 95% of those who are abducted are taken by a parent, an aunt, a sister.
Yeah.
So it's really rare that a kid gets abducted. But we can't take that chance.
It's
Even
true.
if it's 1%, it's not going to be my kid.
You know, it's amazing you said that. I was watching, I hope he doesn't. I was watching Mike do he did this show yesterday where some really great people did some really great stuff for pets, okay? But my take on it was like, you know, this pet, adopt a pet. and I'm listening
did
to
this?
I'm listening to Mike Artsis.
Okay.
He did
Mike.
this show, Adopting Pets, which is great.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody's happy, everything's wonderful, it's all beautiful. The dogs are the best dogs, everything's great. Blah 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 blah. I love pets. I love dogs. I would never be mean to a dog. I love a dog, but I was listening to the language of the people talking about the dogs.
Oh, sure.
Saying I adopted Kelsey.
Yeah.
2 years ago. This was prior to when I saved Bingo. And I thought, what interesting language to say you adopted a dog. You don't adopt a dog, you get a dog.
You purchase a dog.
You purchase one, you get one, you bring one home.
Yeah.
You don't adopt it.
Adopted.
This new language, this new, like that,
You know, and
it seems so
we
self-serving.
afforded the opportunity to Fluffy to have his own room.
Yeah.
We prior didn't have, and I think it really opened him up, and he expresses himself better today.
Right, and then you look
Really.
at the dog and you see in the dog's eyes, he's like, food,
Food.
food, 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 food,
It's an
oh,
animal.
food.
Yeah.
More food,
Yeah, stop,
food,
yeah.
food, uh-oh,
Stop
I gotta
feeding that
poop.
dog.
That's all that's going on in his mind. And they're like, and he's a frisky little guy, and we adopted him. It just feels like this softness is overriding the country, like this weird little, like the helicopter parents, and I'm so guilty of it. Tommy's 13, he's got to take a bus. And the first thing I said to my wife was, no, I'll Uber him there.
Yeah, a little bit.
And she's like, what? Could you imagine your father saying Uber when you were 13?
And by the way, the kids are no different than you. That 12-year-old kid is the same as you were.
Resilient.
Meaning, I want my independence.
Yeah.
I can do this, Dad. Leave me alone. I can walk to school by
That's right.
myself. So it's still the same, but now we won't do that. Our parents, it was different. Was it a different world? To some degree it was, because again, as we spoke about earlier, in the neighborhood, it was neighborhood. Everyone knew each other. It was less likely I could walk 3 blocks to PS 95 and not be abducted.
Yeah.
The odds were really good at that.
Yeah, sure.
Today you might not feel the same way going to a local school because you don't know your neighbors.
That's right.
You know, we got this melting pot, and you know, it's all wonderful, and you know, they say that multiculturalism is the greatest thing ever invented.
So long as
except
everybody assimilates, that's great.
If we assimilate, and I know my neighbor, I know Mr. Lee, and I know Pak Chang,
Yeah.
and all these people. Yeah,
You know
because
Pak Chi?
he lives up the block from me. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
Very private,
I like his
though.
brother, Lock G.
Very
You
private.
know Lock G?
I don't. I know.
It's a rapper. That's his rap name, Lock G.
The point is, like you said, let them assimilate. Let, you know, like be an American. It's all good.
I love
What happened?
the Twitch things.
What happened?
If there's people that foster dogs, I don't know, fosters, adopting, just change the language. Just say you got
Well,
one.
that's
you didn't
why-
foster one, you didn't adopt it.
Well,
You know
that's
what I
why,
mean?
you know, it's not so easy for us to say, okay.
And then they get so
no.
defensive. But they're doing great things and helping. I didn't say they weren't. But just don't
dogs?
say you adopted it.
They do help.
Do you know what it takes to adopt a human being? Do you know the paperwork you have to fill out? I was like that lady. It was a dang dog. You were like that. Owner, thank you. Owner, God bless you. Owner, I love you so much right now. That lady was so overdramatic. I didn't watch it. I saw 15 seconds of it, and I was like, oh, these people. You know, it dawned on me, my friend Tommy, I talk about this all the time, Tom Ellis.
What time out?
He's such a manly man, like a gruffy, like a man. He's the guy who, he's in the food industry, and he was like the manager of the Tribeca Grand Hotel. So he would navigate between these two worlds, between the very, very wealthy, like high-priced clients, and he would do all these special dishes for them, and these, you know, today we're making a watermelon fizz for, you know, Drew Barrymore. And then he would get off work, and he would meet me and the boys and just drink whiskey and beer all night. Just downing whiskey, just a man,
Yeah,
you know?
sure. Hold his liquor.
I went to go visit him one day at his house. He's got his dog, and he's talking to his dog. Who's the baby? Who's the little bougie baby? Oh, you want to go ride? You want to go for a ride in the car? You want to go to Carsy Warsy baby booty? I'm like, what the? I'm
Yeah,
like,
no, what happened?
Tommy, what are you doing? We
God.
took the dog for a walk, and he runs into another dog owner.
Yeah, they love
And
each
they're
other.
talking
what is
about
that?
these dogs like they're human
Is
beings.
that an Irish Fluffy?
Yes, and
Saturday?
Fluffy's doing well. Fluffy will be attending Dartmouth for his PhD. You know, and he's a big fan of The Price is Right.
Yeah, he loves The Price is Right.
It's a dog, and they're sniffing each other's butts, and they're rolling around. Anyway, I could go off for hours.
No, I think that was the South Park episode that actually made fun of that, you know.
Well, South Park did it already. By the way, that banging you hear is the new studios being built.
Construction, huh?
I almost want to go on a tour, Mike Artsis, but he's over there. Maybe tomorrow we'll go on a tour downstairs.
Sure, we should.
Yeah, man, we're building new studios downstairs. Mike is working out a deal with Cumulus. We're going to have radio shows on Cumulus. We got the car show coming up this week.
The car show, where's that?
It's in the Javits Center.
Oh, it's this week, huh?
I'll be kicking off the coverage, as it were, Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. at the car show.
It's Javits Center?
Is there a name for the car show?
No, it's the car show.
Is it the presented by something? No.
No.
You think I should know that, right? You know why Mike said I'm the perfect guy to kick it off? Because I know nothing about cars.
Yeah.
Don't
so
you
those
love
questions will have nothing to do with cars.
Absolutely not. Another thing that annoys the living. When you're at a party and two guys are talking about cars, and they include you in the conversation like you're supposed to know, like somebody would turn to you and go, "Yeah, you see the Mercedes just came out with the 6.9L 537. It's got the dual kick jump start."
Yeah. Dual cams. They don't need the cams anymore because the alternator now is they put it underneath, so you don't get the same kickback. You know?
It's got the 4.8 millimeter J71826 input.
Yeah.
And then I go, how about I elbow strike you right in the temple and just collapse your whole head? How am I supposed to know what you're talking about? Do you go to a party and a surgeon's like, we constructed the aortic valve with the new Sennheiser 116 487 double suction.
Yeah,
no,
the clamps and, and the whatever.
Why do car guys do that? Do you ever?
Luckily, I'm not around.
But you're a roofer, like
guys.
You're a genius roofer.
I'm a right.
Yeah. It's something, Bobby.
Hey, I'm like JC. I'm a carpenter by trade.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And
JC?
JC. Jesus Christ was a carpenter.
Okay, there you go. I like the wink. But that's like you going to a party and going, "Hey, they're coming out with the new fleeceback 80 millimeter TPO."
Yeah. It's supposed to be more durable. No grease sticks to it, you know?
All right, stay right here. I'm going to go get a mallet.
Yeah.
They annoy the hell out of me.
Nobody would do that. I don't know people who do that.
So I can't wait to go to the car show.
I don't know who you're staying with.
People do that to me. Car guys do it to me. Yeah. Only car guys.
I know wine guys.
They do the same thing?
Like, oh my gosh, you know, they now what they're doing is they take the grape and they separate it from the others, leave it in the sun, and it has its own, and when it gets very dry, they ferment it.
Yes, I know the grapes you're talking about. Those are the southern France, the
Chumsois.
The
Chumsois.
Yeah, I adopted a batch of Chumsois. Yeah, I adopted a batch of Chumsois, and they're just doing so great.
They're obedient.
They're attending a 4-week. They're attending
program.
A 4-week seminar on how to be a better grape. But car guys don't do that to you?
I honestly don't know car guys. Fortunately,
you want to come to the car show with me?
That's not going to happen. You know, I used to work the car show. You know, I used to actually put those displays up for Volkswagen.
No, that's the beauty of it, Mike. Bobby was how many years carpenter?
Oh, I was carpenter for quite a few years over there.
He put the stuff together at the Javits Center.
Yeah,
that's my people, son.
That's right. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it when I was down there.
Yeah.
I was always doing something.
Well, in the Carpenters Union, you put the booths together.
When I used to be with the union, then we worked at Harlem Hospital, you know, and now.
We share a space with Skyline. They do the booths. The people that make the booths are in this building.
Yeah, no, it's.
So I'm going to be the guy. I'm going to be the head guy with the microphone talking to people about cars.
I think it's fun. It's a nice atmosphere. I've been to one car show actually. Besides putting it together, I mean, actually
it's fun,
attended
right?
one, and it is fun.
It's actually fun. There's a lot of good energy.
You'd be good. Yeah, you'd be good over there. I think.
Yeah, I'm going to be good. What do you think? What's some questions? What do you think I should ask?
Ask about the Uber car that had killed someone out and say, you know, do you think this is going to affect the driverless cars? Why would I buy a car?
That's going to be my first question. I'm going to be talking to some guy with a Lambo, like the Lamborghini guys. And they're going to go, this Lamborghini is $785 million, and it has the ability to treat your diabetes while you drive.
Right.
And I'm going to go, what about this Uber guy who killed someone?
Yeah,
What do you think about that guy?
The driverless car. Isn't this car going to be obsolete?
I'm going to do it like this, though. I'm going to do it like this, though. Hey, what do you think about this Uber guy killing people? Self-driving. Yeah. Just put the mic on. This self-driving nonsense going on.
Self-driving nonsense, exactly.
They're gonna be so
You think
happy.
it's going to be good for business? Now, people are going to be forced to drive their own car?
Yeah.
As opposed to GPS taking them out everywhere?
What do you think about these sunroofs now? Sunroofs. Just ask questions.
Yeah, just any random. Well, the sunroof's been around for a while.
How about these you could cruise control. You could let your car drive itself. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have fun there. I don't know why I brought that up.
Yeah.
I'm still thinking about the people who say they adopt people, the dogs, I mean. You know. How come I didn't get a coffee, Artsis?
No, you didn't ask. Ask them.
I don't like this place anymore. TJ Stone car. All right, let's do some Twitch a little bit. TJ Stone.
Yeah.
Car renovating service.
Yeah.
You know something? Not a bad idea.
You renovating?
Renovating cars.
Yeah.
Chris Mazzilli, good friend of mine, is doing a show about car renovations.
Yeah.
You know Chris, right?
Maybe.
He owns a Gotham Comedy Club.
Oh yeah. No.
No, never met him.
No.
Never met him.
I heard you mention his name.
Dear friend
There's
of mine.
certain things that I have no idea about.
Dear friend of mine.
Cars?
Very good friend
Is
of mine.
one.
Chris Mazzilli, dear friend of mine.
Yeah. Comedy clubs? Yeah, sure. I've been to.
I mean, I met him last Thursday at a dinner, but.
Is he related to
Very.
Lee Mazzilli?
Actually, he is. He loves when people ask him that because he is. He's a distant cousin. Yeah. He goes, and then when they met each other, they were like, yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, everybody always asks him for
Lee
related.
Mazzilli's a dick. I don't mean that
No,
in
he's a
bad
good
way.
guy.
He's a nice
Good
guy. He was
guy.
just a prick when I went to Lincoln, and he was with the Mets farm system, and he came in to work out with us on the team, and
Yeah.
he thought he was all, look at me.
Yeah. Strutting around.
I got a great Lee Mazzilli story. You want to hear it?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm trying out for Lincoln High School baseball, and I'm on the mound. And Lee Mazzilli comes and works out, showing us some things that he's been doing at Tidewater. So it was very exciting for all of us to be with him.
At this point, he was a pro.
And he was pro, and he was a Lincoln graduate. So
Right.
that's why he was at Lincoln, coming back and, helping out. So Joe Malone, who was the coach at the time, he says to me, oh, look, it's batting practice, throw strikes. We're not here to strike out people. I want to see your control. So here I am throwing strikes. And I have Horace Minerva behind me, retrieving the balls. And who steps into the batter's box? Lee Mazzilli. So I'm tossing it. Boom! He's hitting him off the building. Really, guy could hit. So
You think?
Yeah, I could see. You could see the difference
yeah.
between the high school players, and Mazzilli's ball kind of sailed. So I'm throwing it. So Horace says to me, "Hey, Bobby, just burn one in. Throw it as hard as you could." I said, "Nah, Malone just won." He goes, "Nah." He goes, "He'll never expect it. Just throw it by him." So I said, "Great idea, right?" So I wind up as hard as I could throw, and I could throw pretty hard back then. And it's like pop, right? Mazzilli takes the biggest swing you ever saw. He swings around. His helmet comes off, and all you hear is the popping of the mitt. Joe Malone turns around. Everyone stopped. It was a moment. Like, nice pitch there, Bobby.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, no. There's the coach. I'm trying out for the team.
Yeah.
Well, Mazzilli was pissed like I've never seen. He goes, and he says to me, I never heard this expression before. He goes, no. Throw that again, fuck nuts. And he's back lefty at the time. I said, no, I was just playing.
The first usage of
yeah, right.
of that word.
Yeah, real. Okay, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
I don't care. You could say anything. I'm not supposed to be.
So he says, oh, and I said, so he goes, no, throw it again. So, and I know he wasn't ready. That was the whole point.
That's when you hit him with the curve.
So yeah, all right, trouble with the curve. But
you got to hit him with the curve right there.
No, so I says, the coach just wants me to throw strikes. No. He's really angry. So, I mean, I didn't throw it hard again. I just, just tossing.
Did he say anything to you afterwards?
And he hits again. No, he didn't say anything else afterwards.
Horace was right, though. That's the only chance in your life to get you now because of that. You have this story to tell.
It was so good. It was so nice.
I struck out Lee Mazzilli.
I mean, he just blew it by him. Like obviously he wasn't expecting it, but it was great.
That was incredible for a guy to make it to the majors from the neighborhood back then.
Yeah, no, it was huge.
You know?
Johnny Franco was.
John Franco made it.
There was
But John Franco's a great guy because your son played baseball with his son at his high school.
Yes.
And I remember we used to.
Very nice
when
guy,
I met him,
John.
he was in the. You knew him from high school, but when I met him and watched a few games with him, we talked about that thing that we just talked about, how kids don't.
Yeah, they don't play
Because I
ball
said,
as
Johnny,
much
what do you
as we
think the
did.
difference is between our generation and these guys? And he said it was practice in the schoolyard.
Yeah, right,
Right?
exactly.
He said he spent, just like all of us, hours and hours on end just in the schoolyard playing. You could play 25, 30 games of baseball in a weekend because of the stickball, the square box
No,
on the
exactly.
wall. Right?
No, without a doubt. Well, we always talk about that, and I think that's why there was actually a lot of players back in the 70s and 80s that we played with that got a shot at pro baseball. You don't see that today. And it's not just because today what happens, you have specialties. You know, if your son could pitch, you get him a pitching coach. What we did was just pitch.
Everybody played.
You
Everything.
played and played and played. And it was stickball, wiffle balls, stoop ball, and so we're very athletic guys, and we had, oh boy, my Lincoln High School team and Lafayette, I'm going to say at least 6 guys had pro contracts.
That's right.
Which is unheard of, and
That's
just
right.
2 schools.
That's right. And then all the neighborhood baseball we played with all the organizations, Our Lady of Grace, Gil Hodges, Ty Cobb, the Bonnies, all that stuff was, and you loved it. You
Yeah,
know,
it was just a love. It was no one was looking for scholarships or anything.
nobody was
just
even
played.
thinking about scholarships.
Yeah, yeah.
It didn't even make sense. It was a game. We played games. You know?
I know that meant, yeah, exactly.
We got about 5 minutes left. I want to talk about your father being the first lie detector.
We're going to go back to Nat Lorendi.
Back quickly.
Well-
Nat Lorendi, one of my favorite human beings ever born, looked like Vince Lombardi.
Yeah, look like Vince Lombardi.
My favorite Nat
Show a
Lorendi
picture
line.
of him, I should.
I mean, I have to set the stage a little bit. Nat was the type of guy who was very like matter of fact, always had a little smile on his face, but he would say like the most significant things,
Yes.
right?
Man, a few words, but
when he spoke, it spun your head a little bit. You go, oh, that's a brilliant thing he just said, right?
He was a man of few words, and I remember he would say to me, sit down, coffee, and he have a towel on his lap. And they'd say, so how's school? I'd be in college, you know, how's school? I said, it's okay. I said, I'm not making many friends. I said, it seems like everybody has their own group, who's with the baseball team and who's with the sorority fraternity and who's this. I says, you know, I don't know. He says, he just looks at me and goes, you ever think it's you? Oh, no.
Thanks, Dad. I appreciate it.
I think it's you. So, yeah. He was
One of my favorite Nat Lorendiisms is when you said you were watching a movie, and say you were watching like what was it? What was it? Like, say you were watching Batman or Superman.
No, it would be an outrageous movie where the hero would be just doing amazing things, whatever it was.
like a Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, or yeah, exactly. Let's say Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Right.
I don't remember the movie, but
It's when whatever he's dodging.
So, do you want to say
bullets.
his line?
No, you got it.
No, but he would say funny stuff like that, and
And
so
you would-
I mean, I would look and say, "Now, come on, I'm watching the movie," and say, "That's impossible. How you can't get away with that? How could he jump from that point to, you know?" I would be like looking at it, you know, because you got to buy into these things,
Right.
right? And I said, "He can't do that."
Right.
And my father would say, "Well, that's why they made a movie about him."
With that smile on his
Just
face.
very-
Just like a Vince Lombardi saying
That's
that.
why they made a movie about. So he would have these lines.
And he
I mean, serious.
was so understated.
Very
I used
understated.
to go to your house a lot, and I used to, the towel, you said the towel, it's so funny. He would take a
That's
shower,
trademark.
come out with the towel on, and he didn't want to get dressed. So your mother would make him put a towel, at least put a towel on. So you'd have a little towel. It's a big man. You know, you just answer the door with a towel. Hey, how you doing there, T? Bobby's inside. Come on. You want coffee? Always coffee.
Always coffee.
Always. And then he would tell you about his life. He was the first lie detector expert
Well,
Or one of the first.
would he ever say anything about it? I don't think he said a
No,
word
he
about it.
wouldn't. You would prompt him, and you would prod him, and you would tell me or
yeah, it was
talk.
pulling-
He would
pulling
try to
teeth.
get him to get him to talk, but he would. But
It was-
you would
it
get
was
him
rare,
to talk
it was
a little
rare,
bit.
It was rare moments though that he would open up. You would have to. It would have to be a subject. He would be completely silent right now until you somehow hit a nerve
Yeah.
on a subject that is, and then he'd open up.
Yeah,
So you know, I think.
but he wasn't impressed with himself.
never. No.
Never. Like he worked with the Kennedys.
Oh yeah.
He worked with Robert Kennedy.
He.
He worked with
Well, he once joked too.
Mayor Koch. You know.
Yeah, he knew all the mayors because of his position. So I should tell you then, you know, in terms of what he did. So he was a detective, and he worked at the DA's office. And Frank Hogan, which was a famous DA in New York, said we need some detectives, some volunteers to work on this new thing, this lie detection, this polygraph machine. And my father volunteered. So as a result, he was one of the first, probably in America, you know, to actually work with this. And he had to do some studying and this and that. So at the end of the day, he was one of the first, was well learned on it, and had some of the biggest cases, including Patty Hearst. He flew down to San Francisco, and he gave her the test and determined whether or not she was lying about being brainwashed, and if the PLO had actually, if she worked with them.
Yeah, Patty Hearst. Nobody's gonna know who that is.
Yeah, because it goes down.
Yeah, Google it.
Google it.
Big man, little towel, Tatalicious. Yeah, that was Nat Lorendi.
Big man, little town. It's funny.
So, so he was one of the first guys who ever did this lie detector thing. It was
Yeah.
new at the time, and then eventually he worked his way into crazy big cases like.
Well, there were big cases, but even more, very important that he had gotten 7 people who were incorrectly convicted of crimes and were doing time in jail because his test said that these guys were innocent. But obviously, you can't just take a lie detector test and say, "Hey, the polygraph has said he's
But it
innocent."
opened the case.
But he reopens the case, reopens the investigation.
Oh wow, that's incredible.
And so 7 people, in particular, my father had gotten out of jail after doing 7 years, 20 years.
Wow.
And I'll tell you one story. There was a guy upstate who was with his girlfriend and saw her, visited her and her mother, and then maybe they were in like New Rochelle or something, and then he comes back to Brooklyn. And the next morning, he's arrested for murdering his girlfriend's mother. It's like,
Wow.
what do you mean? You know, he goes, I've been home. I saw them. Well, it turns out the girlfriend says he raped me, and after rape me, killed my mother. So they found his semen in her. So this, you know, these things are like coming together. And he said, no, I had sex with my girlfriend, mutually, you know, agreeable, and then I left. Well, his prints were there, his semen was there, you know, like the evidence was there, and the testimony of his girlfriend. So anyway, long story is, he went to jail. But my father felt that his story was true and he was being honest. So opened the case. The kid, he did 10 years before.
Wow.
They later discovered the girlfriend killed her own mother, and so there was other evidence that came forth.
Nat Lorendi, man.
Yeah, and so and these people, they loved him.
But he was always very honorable like that, like justified in his. If he believed something and he thought it was
he was
right,
a straight shooter.
he wouldn't care.
Very straight shooter.
Right? He was the perfect guy for that job.
He was perfect for that job. I worked for him in his office when I was in college, and I remember one attorney gives him $300 in cash for a lie detector test, whatever it was. So he gives it to me and says, "Here, put this in the bank, you know, make this deposit." So I said, "Dad, it's cash. You don't deposit cash." I'm like 18 or 19.
Yeah.
And I'm going, "You don't deposit cash. You put that in your pocket." So my father looked at me like with the thoughts like, what did I do wrong in raising this kid?
How could you? How could you be such a heathen?
He just looked at me. He goes, "Just put that in the bank."
So honorable.
Oh,
man.
he was ridiculous.
Listen, we got to wrap it up, man.
Yeah.
2 hours went quick, Bob Lorendi, I hope.
Yeah.
I think it did.
Well, listen, man. I hope there was some interest here.
There's a lot of interest. Always
And,
trust a man in a little towel. They have nothing to hide. Delicious. So listen, here's the part where I sign off, man. I'm glad the viewers demanded my presence again and wanted me back because it means a lot to me. The emails came in by the hundreds and hundreds of millions of people wanting to see according to in their terms, the inimitable T.J. Stone is what they said.
Yeah, I don't know.
Huh?
Yeah. Nimble?
Inimitable.
Oh, I said nimble too.
Inimitatable.
Yeah.
Except you don't say inimitatable, you say inimitable.
Inimitable. It's a good word.
Inimitable.
One of the viewers wrote that word?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Of course, I didn't write it.
I
wouldn't say that about myself. Way too humble.
Guys.
Okay, so that's me signing off now. Don't forget to watch everything on Be Terrific and Twitch TV and Roku and Apple and blah, blah, blah. But also, that's a $3 word. Spell it. It's able. That's how I spell it. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow, 10 to 12. But also, we got a big week ahead. The car show's coming up. I can't wait to talk cars and just show these guys everything I know about it, because I'm going to be doing an inimitable job of it. Thank you to the inimitable Bob Lorendi for being here.
Thanks for having me.
You're the best, Bob.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
We are the Bizarro World, Jerry Seinfeld and George Costanza. And for Be Terrific and Twitch TV, TJ Stone signing out. Be terrific!